Like a trusted turnout jacket you've had for years, Flex 7 outer shell fabric delivers a perfectly broken-in feel on the very first wear. Flexible, comfortable, and powered with the strength of Enforce technology, Flex 7 outer shell fabric is made to move. To learn more, visit tencatafabrics.com/flex7. Flex 7, powered by Enforce technology. Only from TenCate Protective Fabrics.
Hello there and welcome to Fire Engineering Blog Talk Radio in this episode of the Professional Volunteer Fire Department, the podcast that is dedicated to our great volunteer fire service. It's also dedicated to the idea that true professionalism is never defined by a paycheck. In developing, maintaining, and exhibiting a professional image and reputation, it's the duty and responsibility of all firefighters. Tom Merrill here. Thank you for listening in again, and a very happy new year to you all. Of course, we're only a few months away from FDIC, and I'm getting really excited to head back to Indianapolis and recharge my batteries and also meet up with so many of my brother and sister firefighters. It's always one of the funnest weeks of the year, and I hope I can meet you there either again or maybe for the first time. I'm going to be there all week from Sunday until Saturday. So reach out to me if you'd like to grab a coffee or a beverage after hours. And please consider coming to my 4-hour class, which is it's on Monday, the 15th, Monday morning, bright and early. First one out of the gate from 8 till noon. And again, I'm going to be doing a 4-hour pre-conference workshop, and we'll be talking about building a professional culture in our volunteer firehouses. And I always have a great conversation with the sisters and brothers that are in attendance. And you know what? I learn as much from them as sometimes they maybe learn from me. Every time I leave class, I have written down notes that people come up during breaks or afterwards to talk to me about things that they're doing and things that have worked for them and maybe some things that didn't work for them. So I learn a lot in the class, and it's a great time, a lot of great conversation. I promise you won't be disappointed if you choose to attend, but I know there's a lot of other great classes to choose from, and I certainly understand that. So the most important thing is to go to FDIC and soak up the learning and the training and pick out those classes that appeal to you, because there's certainly a lot to choose from. I'll also be hosting this podcast, I believe, from FDIC, which is always a fun time. We've done it every year. Last year we did it live from the floor, and that was really cool to be out there with the hustle and bustle of all the activity on the floor and people stopping by and causing commotion and saying hi. And that was really, really a good time. It was a blast, and I think we're going to do it again. And I look forward to doing that, having some great guests on. And I expect to also be hanging out at the book booth. You can stop by and see me there, signing copies of my book, The Professional Volunteer Fire Department. And that's kind of crazy to me because for over 20 years now, I've walked by that book booth. I've stopped in and purchased books and had them signed by some of the authors that I looked up to. And I can't believe that my book is now going to be on the shelf alongside some of these other great firefighters that I've looked up to for years. I'm humbled by that, and I'm really honored. So I'm excited about it. So feel free to stop by the book booth and introduce yourself to me, say hi, and look over all those great books and videos that are available for purchase from Fire Engineering Books and Videos. And again, FDIC, April 15th to the 20th in Indianapolis, and I really hope I see you there. So on this episode, we are heading back to training. We're going to head back to the training corner. After all, we can never get enough training. And any firefighter worth their salt, paid or volunteer, cannot deny that training is one of the most important, if not the most important attributes of any professional fire department. And any professional firefighter should embrace training and think highly of it. It cannot be downplayed. It cannot be ignored. It must be a priority. So that being said, it's so important that there's be some sort of support structure out there to help departments get the training they need, as well as maybe to help instructors get the education and support they need to make them the best instructor they can possibly be. And I'm pleased to welcome to the show Chief Brian Zaitz, who is a 23-year member of the fire service. He's currently serving as the Assistant Chief of Operations and Training with the Kirkwood Fire Department in Missouri. And he's also a graduate of the National Fire Academy's Executive Officer Program. And he's been an instructor at FDIC for 10 years now. And he also serves on the FDIC and Fire Engineering Advisory Board. But he's also the first vice president of the International Society of Fire Service Instructors, commonly known as the ISFSI. I screw that up every single time. ISFSI. But he's here to talk to us about what a great resource the ISFSI is and how it can really help fire departments and fire department training officers. And here's the thing, it exists for all departments everywhere, paid and volunteer. In fact, the mission statement of the ISFSI says it so well: inspiring, supporting, and elevating instructors around the world. And like I said, it need not matter if those fire departments or firefighters are career or volunteer. They bring a lot to the plate. They bring a lot to the table, I should say, to help all of us. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm pleased to welcome on Chief Zaitz. Chief, thanks for joining me. I really am honored to have you here.
No, thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to discussing training and ISFSI, and I think that that misnomer sometimes, to your point of with the volunteer firefighters, is that some of these organizations are maybe outside their reach or not relevant to them, and I will say that could not be further from the truth with the ISFSI, and I'm sure we'll talk about some of the attributes and things that the ISFSI can offer. And when you say that elevating the instructor, we literally have instructors around the world. We just had a member join from Kenya, Africa.
Wow.
From the Kenyan airport, and it's the chief of the airport out there joined. So if he finds value in what the ISFSI is doing, I'm sure that we can definitely help a bunch of departments here in the United States as well. So it's all good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Before we get into it, though, I got a question for you, and it pains me. It pains being from Missouri. Are you a Chiefs fan?
I am. I know the Buffalo Bills. We had a little upset the other night. It's tough.
We're used to it. We're used to it in Buffalo, but it just makes for much longer winter here. It's just, well, congratulations.
Thank
Another
you.
great game.
Come down, we got some high school kickers that are available. If you guys want.
Please. I can tell you that I have 5 brothers and sisters. My daughter works for the Buffalo Bills. My other daughters were soaking it up at all the Bills backers bars, and I don't think anyone slept yet. It is just agonizing and rips the heart out of. But I guess I could say we're used to it, so it doesn't make it any easier.
We're
used to it.
It doesn't make it easier. And I watched that game, and I just back and forth. It was a great game to watch. Obviously, the turnout was great for us, but there were so many opportunities on both sides where either team could have really done something that just neither team really executed. So we'll see what happens in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that. And we have a saying here in Buffalo, because we're 0 for 6 in championship games, 4 Super Bowls and 2 Stanley Cups. Just one before I die. And I just turned 61 a couple weeks ago. 20 years ago. Yeah, a lot of time. That window's getting narrower and narrower. Yeah.
Come on, let's do this.
But anyway.
All right, we'll talk.
I know this isn't a sports podcast, but anyway, let's talk with you. I always like to introduce my guests and have them tell the listeners a little bit about themselves. Tell me about your fire service journey, your career, and how it all began.
So it's crazy, right? So I started out very young, like a lot of people that probably listen to this. I started out at the age of 15 as one of those junior explorer firefighters on a local fire department. My uncle was a firefighter. My dad was a volunteer firefighter. And so, I kind of had it in the family business a little bit. None of my brothers and sisters, they're all in the business sector of corporate America. And so I'm the youngest. And so when I told my parents, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to do this fire thing. And they're like, kind of looked at me like, oh, well, if that's what you want to do, your brother's a CPA, your other brother's an HR, kind of like,
never going to get rich.
Like, what are you doing? And so, So anyway, so I did that, the junior explorer thing through that. And then at 18, turned into a volunteer firefighter for the fire department. And it was lucky enough to transition to a career position at 20 and haven't looked back. And, it's crazy. I'm 43 now. And, when I was 20 years old, the things I've done in the fire service, different accomplishments, personal and professional, never were on my radar. I like most people, I just wanted to ride backstep, and I wanted to, aspire to run calls, have fun at a firehouse and things like that. And then as doors opened and opportunities availed themselves, I would walk through those doors. And then that's the challenge, right? And that's the challenge that a lot of us face, is that when those opportunities come, a lot of us can be like, I don't know if I really want to do that. I'm pretty comfortable.
Sure.
And so, I would say that to anybody listening, take that challenge, put yourself out there a bit. There's a tremendous amount in the fire service to do and see. To your point, I always tell people this too. I've been at FDIC now 10 years, and that's a small window compared to a lot of people that have been 20-year members. And I remember my first FDIC attendance as a student, just sitting around and walking up and seeing these legends in the halls, right? And I just walk by, and there's like, oh my God, it's Mike Dugan. Like, that's the guy on the flag with the, the flag from FDNY, Frank Viscuso and all these people. And I never would walk up to talk to those guys, because I was just like, they don't want to hear from some little dude in St. Louis. It's a firefighter. But then, I met Chief Halton, and he's just like us, right? He's a firefighter. And that's what I always tell people. I'm like, walk up to these people that you quote idolize or admire, or think, you listen to their podcast, your podcast, you're going to have people at FDIC that listen to this on a routine basis. Well, come up and ask them, hey, man, where do you come up with your topics, or how did you get started, or what's the thought? Because somebody's got to take over this next step. And so, we're all firefighters, and I always made the joke that, what did the next door neighbor of Bobby Halton think? Oh, that's Bobby Halton. He's a fireman. Nobody thought like, oh my God, this is the guy in charge of, I give Dave Rhodes the same trouble. I'm like, when Dave Rhodes is out cutting his grass, you think people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the guy cuts his own grass, because we just think that this guy's like bigger than life. And in reality, we're all the same, right? We're all firefighters. We're all just trying to enjoy the job, do the job, make it a little better than we found it. And collectively we can do that. We just got to break down those walls, and everybody's approachable. That's what I would say, is approach the people at FDIC and have fun with them.
Uh-oh, you got the big one?
No, we're good. That's not me. We're good.
Lunch call?
Yeah. Lunchtime.
But what is so important is, and we've talked about it on this podcast before, is number one, you go to FDIC, and anyone that hasn't been, and if you're going, don't be afraid to stop and talk to any of the people that you look up to, because they're all approachable. The networking opportunity is second to none. But then I liked what you said too about getting out of your comfort zone. I don't think any one of us would be doing what we're doing, whether it's these podcasts, teaching at FDIC, writing a book, whatever it is, without getting out of your comfort zone, right? Sometimes you take that chance and get out of your, and look what it leads to.
Well, and that's, you think, I look at myself, and I've had tremendous opportunities afforded to me, and here I am sitting on a podcast with you, and never would I thought that. And so all of us joined the fire service, and none of us joined thinking, man, if only I could write a book someday, or maybe I could have my own podcast. None of us did that. Right. And so, but what we did was we took the chance, we took the opportunity, and we ran with it. And that's what we have to do. We have to have more people taking the chance and running with it in the fire service. And I think we do. I think we have that stuff, but like you said, it starts at FDIC, incredible experience. It's an incredible week up there. I love it every year. I look forward to that drive up on Sunday to Indianapolis. And once we cross the border, I get excited. And then, and by the end of the week on Friday, I'm just exhausted. Just because you're just a nonstop week. You're trying to get to this event, you're trying to go to this, you're trying to see this person, catch up. And it's just, it's fun. It's a good chance. I call it a giant family reunion. It's like that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. My kids all say, my wife and my daughters, Dad's going to that conference again. He's going to be all wound up.
Come back and
true.
Trail blazing. Let's do this thing. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So let's talk about the International Society of Fire Service Instructors. What's it all about? Share a little of its history. How did it form? And
sure. So it's, this is our 60 second year. 24 will be. Been around for a while. We're one of they call them the sister organizations. You got the IFF, the IFC, and that sort of stuff, the National Volunteer Fire Council. And so the ISFSI is one of those. So our primary mission and our focus is really about fire service training and instructor development. And so if you think about other organizations, they cover a group per se of people, and we really cover an ideology or a thought. We cover that training. We want to make sure that today's fire service training is meeting the mark. And we want to make sure that today's fire service instructors and training officers have everything they need to be successful for the safety and well-being of their firefighters and the safety and well-being of the communities they serve. And so, we exist. Obviously, we have around 2,000 members, and we're always looking to add to that group. As and people listen to this podcast know, one of the strongest things you can have in the fire service is a network of resources to call. And so, I always thought, back in the day, I always made the joke of before the internet, what was the network? It was that giant list of encyclopedias behind you that you went to and like, hey, I got to do a paper on zebras. Let me go get the Z and I'll look up zebras and I'll do a paper on that. In today's world, what do? You start calling around, you get information, you see what they got, this person's got, and you use your professional network along with some research. And so I think that's what the biggest thing that I think the ISFSI offers is that network. I'm looking for a training on this, or I had this issue arise, and that network of 2,000 people literally across the world, someone has probably seen it, been exposed to it, or has an idea on it that can help you or assist you. We had a success story with ISFSI of a training officer who was a lieutenant in his local department, got promoted to training officer and literally had nothing. He was like, hey, I just got thrown in this role. My chief said, hey, try to find some help. I joined and literally within a week, we had him signed up with one of our training officers, a really well-known training officer in the fire service. We got him some standalone materials to start building up his training programs, got him help with a network of people that were around him that could help him deliver the trainings. And he found success. And so he probably, I don't think he'd have found that had he not come through the ISFSI inroads.
That's amazing. Yeah, the networking alone. I mean, chances are someone's seen it, been there, done it, experienced it, and picked their brain and learned from them. The networking alone is just fantastic. And, even though we're talking a lot about training and training officers, there's a lot to offer the rank and file firefighter as a member, isn't there?
100%. So, we're not just for the training officer. We get that a lot. Like, well, I'm not the training officer for my department. So, if you're a firefighter, you're a company officer, we'd love you to be there because you offer that perspective that maybe the training officer is not seeing. And, I'm a training officer for my department, right? So that's my job. But I always say that the best training comes at the company level for those 15 and 30-minute training sessions that occur out in the apparatus bay or in the streets with a quick drill. And so, if you're that person, the company officer or aspiring company officer, there's no better resource out there. I mean, you literally get on our website right now as a member, put in the chat room, just looking for some quick drills. And I can assure you within, a day or two, your inbox will be full of everybody's quick drills and you'll have a year's worth of training without much problem. It's a small investment. Our membership fees are just a little over $100 a year. But, in terms of the return on investment, I strongly believe it's worth it, for a member of your department. At least I always say it's like, I'd love to have everybody in the department be a member, right? We always love that. But I think every department needs to have at least one person as a member. I'm a realist because we all share. And so, if we could get everybody to get somebody in their department, whether it's a company officer, firefighter, training officer, whatever, to experience what the ISFSI has to offer, I think that they would quickly realize it. And so, yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know in addition to the networking, which, you just punch something in, like you said, and get the resources, you also have professional development opportunities. You've got regional and international exposure with different conferences and they go to your members are on different boards across the nation, right? They sponsor conferences and events. You're very engaged in not just local, but federal and state initiatives that are going on. I mean, there's a whole gamut of things that the ISFSI does to really help the rank and file firefighter be better at their job. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm looking at the list of things here that are on your website, and it just goes on and on and on.
it's kind of crazy. A lot of people just discount it. They just think, to your point, the training aspect of it. But yeah, our members, every year during AFG grant season, our members are requested to sit on those grant review boards. And so, FEMA will ask us, and we'll send it out to our members, and we'll send 10 to 12 members through FEMA sponsorship to an area, typically in Baltimore, and they'll review for a week the FEMA AFG grants. And so, and I know the volunteer fire service relies heavily on grants, which most of us do anymore. All the departments really do anymore. But what an opportunity for your department to have an inside look at what AFG is looking for, than to sit on an AFG grant review board, right? I mean, you get the inside track as to what's going on in those grants. And so, that's an afforded opportunity from a membership. Mentoring, we have a formal mentor program. So you're coming in as a new training officer or whatever, and you say, hey, listen, I'm just kind of out there. I feel like I'm in a, because as training officers, we're the first budget cut, and we're the sole person in the pool. I feel like sometimes, right? Other people can align, and so if you find yourself in that position, we can hook you up with other people that have got a stand plan to get you successful in your new role as a training officer. And so we have a formal mentoring program that we offer at no charge to our members. So what an opportunity to have somebody that you can call as a resource when you're just kind of lost or you're trying to develop things. And so we do offer that program. In terms of conferences, obviously we have quite a few conferences that we attend. Regional, obviously we'll be at FDIC. That's our home. That's our base of operation. A lot of people don't know, but FDIC was originally founded by the ISFSI and sold to Penwell at the time, Penwell, now Clarion, quite a few years ago, and they took over the FDIC conference. But
I did not know that.
Yeah, the ISFSI was the original founder of the fire department.
Back in the Cincinnati days, or even before that?
Back in the Cincinnati and Tennessee. Yeah, those days. Yeah, and so
wow, I did not know that.
It was sold back in the day. Yeah, it was a tough decision, but well before my time associated with ISFSI and anything. I don't think I was even in the fire service when those decisions were made. But
I still got members to talk about the old Cincinnati days, and I'm not sure where it was before Cincinnati, but there's still firefighters in my area that talk about those days.
Trips to Cincinnati, and so my FDIC experience has always been Indy, and that town is just set up for it. And it's great. It's a good time, but. No, it's, I always tell people, when you're looking for something to that's going to be mutually beneficial, and just like anything you do, you get out what you put into it. We have instructional opportunities. So, we've had quite a few people that teach for us. We have a phenomenal NFPA 1403 program. So a 3-day program to where, we show you what right looks like for live fire events. So if your department has a training tower, or you have a consortium in your area, or you guys share a tower per se or something, and you're looking for, we got this tower, we do some burns, but I'm not sure we're really doing it correct or we're compliant with what the standard is. And I know NFPA is a bad word in a lot of people's heads nowadays. They're like, I don't want to, I can assure you that training is not where you want to start cutting corners on NFPA. Because you have the time to plan it out. So, we offer that program. We did the Principles of Modern Fire Attack program. We partner with UL a lot and FSRI, and take what they learned, what they kind of research, and then put that into deliverables for the fire service. And so, Principle of Modern Fire Attack, their understanding of fighting basement fires, the water mapping through our engine ops class, and we have a new class that I'm very excited about that's coming out that's really targeted to the volunteer fire service. And we don't have a formal name for it yet, but it lines up with those NFPA 1400 series. And so we have, NFPA 1404, 1407, 1408, 1410, and then of course we'll add in NFPA 1584. And so if you know those standards, right, you have the respiratory standard, thermal imaging, RIT, and then fireground operations, and then of course the rehab. And so what we've identified is that those programs within those standards within FPA have in them, there's all the trainings, they have in there the verbiage of shall. And when somebody says shall, The department pretty much should have something in place for that. And, not many do. And so we saw it as an opportunity. We partnered with the National Volunteer Fire Council and the North American Fire Training Directors, and was awarded an AFG grant to create a program and a curriculum with an online component, and then 25 basically hands-on training classes that'll be delivered across the country. And so we're very excited about that. Yeah. And so, and that's a free thing, right? So, I mean, like, the people that listen to this call, they might be in, wherever, and they're like, well, they don't, I don't know, logistically, there's not a support for that class in my area. And they're like, well, I just want to see it. Well, if you got the internet and you can get online, we'll have an online deliverable that'll be rolled out that you can have access to the same information. It won't be the same as the hands-on class, obviously, but we wanted to make sure that we didn't leave anybody out. And so, and sometimes we find that, right? So, not everybody's going to be able to get to the hands-on. We recognize that, but we said, hey, this information is so important. Let's create an online platform that students can go onto and get into it and learn about this stuff.
That's fantastic. Wow. And you just go online if you're a member, and you can put in for any of those.
Yeah. So any of our programs, any of our grant programs, I say this tongue in cheek, you don't have to be a member to attend. Any of our understanding fighting basement fires, any of those, there's no fee for any of our grant programs. So when this rolls out with this at the end of the year, it'll be a free offering for the fire service. And so we're really excited about that opportunity because we understand too, we'd love everybody to be a member, but maybe it's not financially affordable to some places, but the information is so important. We couldn't charge for it. So we're very lucky that we got that grant to make it an opportunity that we can put out there. So we just did the NFPA 1700, which is the standard on fire ground operations, essentially structural firefighting. And so we did a 2-day program on that. We put that across the country as well. So, and the part I would say about that is that those programs are taught by our members. So, if you're thinking like, man, I've never taught at FDIC, or I've taught at my regional fire school, I'm a pretty good instructor, but I've never been able to break that ceiling, maybe joining the ISFSI and when we have our call for instructors, put your application in and see where it falls. Maybe you don't teach one of our grant programs, but you start teaching our 1403. Maybe you start teaching some of our lecture classes or something like that. Or you get linked up with other people that are having conferences in the region, and you start finding yourself maybe doing a little bit of that because you have a class, the professional volunteer fire department class, maybe, or something, right? That's a niche, right? That's what somebody's looking for in their area, and they call you up and they say, "Hey, love to have you out and share your message with us because we think it would benefit our organization, our region, our state." And so it gets back to that whole aspect of the networking part of the ISFSI,
right? So just another thing you can take advantage of if you're a member is
absolutely
the opportunity to put in and present a class, something you're passionate about, something of your interest. Is it something that you even could develop on your own, or do you have a
absolutely.
list of?
We are always looking for continuing education opportunities, like with webinars and webcasts. We didn't apply to me because I don't have them, but we just had a webinar on shipboard firefighting and tactics and strategies on shipboard firefighting that, I didn't participate in it because my area, we don't have that. So it wouldn't, but, for those members that have that or something, that's great. Somebody was wanting to share their information and do that class. So again, completely free for our members, so those opportunities exist and to share the message. So
I know, I took a line off the website that the ISFSI believes that instructors have the power to transform the lives and well-being of fire and EMS providers everywhere. So it says, our passion is to help instructors achieve previously unimaginable levels of performance. And we do this by nurturing a community of really smart, creative, and interesting people, our members. I think that says it all right there.
Yeah,
you are open to your members to help make them the best instructor they possibly could be, or get the information that you need as a firefighter to make you safer and do your job better. It's win-win for everybody.
Well, and I think that's, part of that too is as an instructor or something, you might think something's outside of your reach, or it's an intangible, right? I mean, and I go back to when I started in the fire service, attending FDIC, that was, oh my gosh, I finally made it, right? I got to attend FDIC. And then I got to teach at FDIC. And last year I got to speak on the stage at FDIC. All things I never wanted, aspired to do or thought about doing. But, you think about these instructors, well, I could never do a first alarm drill, right? My department, and I use that as an example. I used to volunteer in a smaller department in southern Missouri at a lake resort type place I'd go to on the weekends, small volunteer department. I go down there and do training with them, things like that. And they, some of these places are like, well, we can't do those big scale drills because we don't have the staffing, we don't have the manpower. Well, what if we break down some of those walls, right? What if we start talking to the neighboring department? What could we do something with them? Could we bring them over, right? So we got one engineer. We get them together now. Guess what? We got a 1410 drill. And it's just breaking down some of those barriers and getting those communications and saying, wow, that we could do that. We didn't know that was an opportunity. I work with a lot of smaller departments in Missouri with grant funding for training, and a lot of departments, you'll be there next week with me at Missouri Winter Fire School. You're coming in for that, correct? So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, that'd be great. And so, one of the messages I always start in that class is, do you know this state has free training? And a lot of people don't. And so, I always want to put that out there. It's like, there's a lot of things we can do, to your point. And we want to make sure that through the ISFSI, all those opportunities, both locally, regionally, state, and nationally, internationally, are afforded to our instructors and our members, so that essentially no stones left unturned to advance the fire service.
Yeah, and I know. Okay, you're not a training instructor, or you're not presenting any classes anywhere yet. You're a rank and file firefighter. There's still so much more that is offered to you by joining the ISFSI.
Absolutely.
Said it wrong again.
No, yeah. Trust me, it's a tongue twister. It's a lot of I's, S's, and it does gets chopped up. But yeah, if you so just think about this. You're the rank and file firefighter of your department. You aspire to maybe someday promote. Or, like all of us, we just aspire to be good at our job, right? We just want to be good firefighters. So I joined the ISFSI, and you're right. I'm not teaching anything, but I'm afforded knowledge and training opportunities from some of the best fire instructors in the world. I mean, if you look at some of our members, we got Forrest Reeder, who basically wrote the book on fire instructor. Chief Dave Rhodes, fire engineering FDIC, head honcho, he's a member. Anthony Avila sits on our board. You want to talk to somebody about going on a lot of fires. That's a guy that's going on a lot of fires and can tell you about different things with command and control things. So, and then smaller departments, right? So, we got other guys too. We got a guy in my department now, Mike Bozzoni. He's one of our new battalion chiefs, right? So, you were looking for somebody that's just, in that municipal fire department. Okay, reach out to him. And the thing I love about the ISFSI is that it's that hand that opened the door for you, right? So maybe you just, we talked earlier about those open doorways. This is that open doorway, right? So, hey, I really didn't know how to reach out to Anthony Avila, for example, and how to get in contact with him about some of the information. Well, he's an ISFSI member. He's on our website. Send him an email. He's going to respond to you, and he's going to talk to you. And he's going to get your information to you and what's going on. And I say that not because, Anthony Avila is one of those guys we look up to, but there is 2,000 members, and there's members just like you facing the same problems, that if nothing else, at least you got somebody you can beat your head against the wall with at the same time, right? Like, oh my gosh,
absolutely.
And so, you can find them big and small. We got large department members. We got, guys in the Boston Fire Department. Mike McCarthy is one of our big guys in thermal imaging. And we got guys in very small departments, and Jesse Marcotte, who's just in a small suburb just outside of Detroit, Michigan, so, and myself, I'm in a small little department here in Kirkwood in Missouri. So everything in between, we can link you up with whatever you're looking for. And I think that's what makes us very cool is our uniqueness in our membership. We have volunteers, we have careers, we have big city, small city, and everything in between.
And if you're looking to learn, you have a lot of different ways to do it, like you said. But tell me about the happy hour. I saw that. I was like, whoa, what's this happy hour?
Yeah. So I was, I'll tell you a couple of cool things we do is, we were doing some happy hours, and we'd bring on somebody to speak. We do it from like 3 to 4 in the afternoon. It was during COVID. We haven't had one in a while, just because I think people went back to traditional happy hours. But during COVID, we kind of found void, right? Nobody could go out, nobody could really do anything. But we all still wanted to have those, hey, because we all know how it goes, right? Like, hey, we're not going to talk shop. Nobody talks shop. 5 minutes later, what are we all doing? We're all talking shop.
You're talking shop.
That's what we do. We're firefighters. And so we started these happy hours where we'd say, hey, here's the guy we want to bring on, right? So we're going to bring on whoever's going to speak about a topic. But it's just an open forum, right? So we do it through Zoom. Everybody get on there. Some people might be drinking. But it was an opportunity to kind of just talk, right? Just like we were
online happy hour.
It
was online, right?
That's all it was. It was just an online happy hour, and it would really got great reviews. But then kind of COVID kind of went away, and so some of that stuff went away, and so so it just people weren't as confined in their homes and things like that. But we do an annual. We've done some conferences. We're looking at doing another annual conference for instructor development. We have online training that's afforded to our members. One of the biggest member benefits is you get 10% off your FDIC registration. So if you think about it, your membership pays for itself just going to FDIC. If you're going to be there at FDIC the whole week, 10% off of that, you paid for your membership. Wow. We have a bunch of stuff going on at FDIC. Like I said, Tuesday night we have a social for our members. It's a great opportunity to network. We always invite some special guests that come out. We were very fortunate last year. The U.S. Fire Administrator, Dr. Lori Moore, stopped by, say hi, met with our members. So, not many times do you get afforded those opportunities to have a one-on-one conversation with her and her administration and kind of what's going on.
Talk about a down to earth person too, right?
Oh my gosh. Special. Just super humble. She's one of us. That's why I say she's a firefighter just like us, just wants to see the fire service get better. And so, and I always say that too, you see her walk through and she's just like, hi, how you guys doing? I'm Lori, I'm like, no, you're not. You're Dr. Lori Moore. Yeah. You're the U.S. Fire Administrator. Like, you're a big deal. And so, it was great to have her there. So that's a Tuesday night event we have at FDIC. We have our general meeting on a Friday morning for our members. So all of our members come in. We're going to roll out. We have a brand new strategic plan for the next 3 years, which I'm very excited about. We're going to highlight some of the aspects of that and kind of the direction we're going. And we're always looking for more members. We offer a discounted rate at FDIC. So if you're not a member yet, I'd encourage you to join, especially if you're going to FDIC. Capture that 10% discount. And if for some reason you've already signed up for FDIC and you want to meet us up there, love to have you join up there as well. It's less than $100 for your first year to join. So, and
what are the membership? You got you have a bunch of different membership categories, right? If somebody listening wanted to join, what's it going to cost them? Do you know offhand what the categories are?
Yep. So if you're wanting to join by yourself, let's say you're just, you're a member of your department, whatever, it's $135 for a year. And so it's a 1 year membership. And then it just recurs after that if you want to keep enrolling. We offer small and large department memberships. So if you're the training officer of your department, or you got 5 or 6 people in your department that want to join, we offer that. And that's $500. So it discounts that rate. And then your department is a member. And then large department, obviously, if you have 10 or more members, that rate goes up, and then subsequent memberships added onto that are cheaper or discounted rates as well. But it's nice to have a departmental membership. Obviously here at Kirkwood, we're a departmental membership. We have a bunch of departments in the St. Louis area that have joined on as departmental memberships. And so when we're looking for places to host trainings like the NFPA classes that we talked about coming up, the 1700 class we had, the Understanding Fighting Basement Fires, we'll leverage those department members and say, hey, listen, we got this training opportunity. We'd love to have you host it because we know you can logistically support it and you support the ISFSI mission. So we're excited about that. And then, of course, we have the Instructor of the Year Award that we annually give out at FDIC. So that's another thing that's a pretty good honor for us and an ability to do.
Wow. And if you're not attending a class in person, in addition to like the happy hour type get together, you have web-based, you've got online demand classes where someone could just go in and search for a type of class that you're looking for, correct?
Yes.
You've got webinars. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's a tremendous, a lot, I think. And that's why I was really looking forward to this opportunity today to just kind of highlight it. I think so many people just see us as, hey, those are the people that are FDIC. They give out the Instructor of the Year Award. And, maybe they do one program in our 1403 program. And we're so much more than that. We really, truly believe and are truly trying to live that mission of elevating the fire service through quality and structure and educational opportunities. And so, and that's the thing, right? We know that we would love to see you in person. We'd love to have, the face-to-face contact with you in a classroom. But in today's world and financial aspects of it, we just can't always do that. And so we want to make sure that we afford those same opportunities to those members that may not be able to come to a class or something like that for whatever reason, either logistics, finances, or whatever. And that's why I think this next training that we're going to do with that we partner with the NBFC and offer that online component is really going to be a game changer, because it's going to be free, it's going to be online, and it's going to be available. And so,
Wow.
I think it's a really cool thing. And I think hopefully people take the opportunities to get that and take those classes and really learn.
When is that expected to be rolled out?
Should be hopefully end of this year, first part of next year is what we're looking at. So we're kind of still developing all the curriculum and all those things. We have a pretty good cadre, actually a very strong cadre of instructors that are building that program out currently. So, and again, that's all of our members. We didn't go out and search for anybody to come in. We said, hey, we got a strong membership base. Let's leverage those people, and they're getting to it right now to build that out.
And if, again, I know you mentioned this earlier, if you are interested in presenting, I believe members can submit to present on a wide variety, whatever topic of interest they might have, correct?
Yeah.
If you're other people out.
100%. If you're a subject matter expert in whatever, training you have and whatever you're doing in your area, we would definitely love to see it. We love to, showcase it in one of our webinars from a member's perspective. Obviously, we'll probably, ask you to submit it. We'll vet it, just make sure that you're not saying anything crazy and that sort of thing, which is, which is about standard in the industry. So don't think we're doing anything different than what other conferences or anybody else is going to ask. But it's a great opportunity. The other thing too we have a monthly newsletter, and so we're always looking for content for that. And so, I always go back to the first time I opened Fire Engineering. I saw an article I wrote on there, and I thought, man, this is, again, never ever thinking who would ever want to hear what Brian Zaitz has to say about anything. At least that's what my wife tells me. No one wants to hear what you have to say. But the first time I saw my article in paper, and I thought, man, that's really cool. But it started in smaller stuff, right? Like very few people graduate and say first article they ever printed was in fire engineering. So, if you have a thought or want to get some help, submit an article to our newsletter. Love to see it. Comes out, goes to all our members on a monthly basis. And so, that could be your start, right? Like, hey, I wrote a 1,500 word article on a class I did, or something I was doing in the fire service, or instructional development thing I'm doing. And the nice thing is if you need help with it, we're there, right? You got the rest of the membership in myself and all of us committed to making you successful. That, if your article doesn't meet the muster, we're going to be like, hey, could you add this? Look at this, think about this. Oh man, I never thought about that. Well, yeah, or how do I get, I get this a lot. How do I ever get to present at FDIC? What are they looking for? Well, we probably have close to 50 of our members teaching at FDIC. So there's your bank of people to go talk to, one-on-one, and say, hey, how did you do it? How did you break that ceiling? How'd you get in? And so I always say that too, is that, that valuable resource of just the communications aspect and talking to people and seeing what they're doing. Cause most people have a valuable message. It's just the way they relay it or the way they get it out there may not always. I had a friend of mine who wrote an article on boosters and booster tank water and the importance of knowing what your booster tank and the operations of a booster. And he came to me and he said, hey, never wrote in his life, guys close to retirement, literally thought nobody cared what he had to say. Right. And he's a captain in a neighboring department, a great guy, wealth of knowledge in the fire service. And I said, well, write something down, man. Just start writing your thoughts down. And so he sent me his article and I said, well, yeah, it looks good. But I said, what about this and this? He goes, I didn't think about that. And I said, yeah, just, put everything out there that you're thinking. So what did he do? He wrote it down. Next thing he knows, he's in a fire engineering supplement on fire apparatus. And he was just thrilled, right? I mean, just exciting times, right?
Sure.
Your article. But that's the things we can do is just, we all try to help each other out to be successful. And that's all we want to see. You know, to your
Yeah.
point, we just want to see the fire service a little bit better through our own actions. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So to summarize,
yep.
we'll start with the rank and file firefighter listening to this podcast. Not an officer,
Yep.
not training anybody. I just want to better myself. I put that $100 membership in. The resources that are available between webinars, networking events, what's in it for me, Joe or Jane firefighter?
Yeah. So I would say the biggest thing for the line firefighter is the networking opportunities that are afforded to them through all of our members, the online training programs, and access to those webinars and the members areas of the website. And then, of course, obviously the discounted rates on things, discounted rates through IFSTA, Blue Card, FDIC, attendance, all those things. They pay for themselves coming back.
The discounts alone, right?
Yeah,
Those are great.
I mean, just the discounts alone for those sort of things to pay for the membership for that basic rank and firefighter that's just looking for an opportunity to learn more.
If I remember the discounts, it's Blue Card, which is a premier nationally known program for incident command, right?
Yep.
Fire Engineering Magazine discount, FDIC discount. I believe it was Jones and Bartlett.
Jones and Bartlett discount. Yep.
Which is if anyone doesn't know, they're a provider of training and educational resources for the fire service. I mean, there's discounts from your membership that'll make up for the membership costs.
Yeah. When I see people at FDIC, I always think to myself, I'm like, are you a member? They're like, no. I'm like, well, why not? Like it'd pay for itself, And I always joke too, come out on Tuesday night to our social, it's $25, but it's all you can eat and drink. I'm like, you can't have dinner in Indianapolis.
Firefighter doesn't like that.
Yeah. I said, who doesn't want to do that? You want to eat and drink for $25? You're not going to do that anywhere else in Indianapolis. So, but yeah, so I think for the rank and file firefighter, those are the opportunities that exist.
And then if I'm now a training officer looking to up my game, I can go to the resource here and have peers and information to make me a better instructor. So if I'm looking to do that.
Yeah. So now you've progressed. Now you're the company officer, training officer for your organization. It's a small investment. You're making sure that everything that you're delivering, you can vet it against some of the best in the industry, programs that are out there. You have a network again that can vet your information. Hey, listen, I want to do a class on this. Has anybody ever done this before? What do you guys think about this? Even small stuff like you're thinking about buying a training tower. Okay, what are you guys using for training towers? Most of us in our area, there's very few training towers around us. So our experience and relative knowledge of them is, well, they got one from this company. I guess that'll work for us. So, same with props and different things. So, now you have access to, 2,000 members and say, hey, listen, I'm looking at XYZ training tower. Somebody's like, oh man, that's great. We've done this. Don't forget about that when you build it, right? So now you have that as the company officer, training officer for your department. The online component, again, for all the trainings that are afforded to you. The classes that we offer, the 1403 class that we offer is phenomenal in delivering high quality, high impact, safe, live fire training in a correct environment, a correct way. So all those things come to play, and like I said, I know $135 is not peanuts, right? And for some, it's more than others. But it's a small investment in my books, especially for that company officer, training officer, for everything that you get back,
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And small investment to make yourself a better firefighter and make yourself a better fire instructor if you're going down that path.
Absolutely.
And you can get online training, the networking alone. I love the ability that I think I saw that you can do a chat type for it, or you can just put in, hey, anyone ever done this? And all the great resources that will come back with information that you're looking for.
Yeah, we have different forums within our website. We just redeveloped our entire website. So we have different forums within the website that you can go and specifically look for certain aspects of information you're looking for. Or to your point, hey, I want to join this group that's looking for something. And, now you're in a group setting. And like I said, maybe it's that we'll use an example, seaboard firefighting, whatever, shipboard firefighting doesn't pertain to me. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to be in that group. But maybe there's 15, 20 people that create that group online, and then they share documents, share information, start talking. Now they have a professional network that they've developed on their own just through our membership. Putting the right people together is one of our big things. We put the people that need to get together, we try to get them together.
Yeah. And did I see too that you have ability to view documents and videos and files that you might be looking for to help prepare a drill. I thought I saw something on that too, that you have resources like
Yeah,
that,
we
like
have drills online.
resource library.
Yeah, we have a full library full of training documents and things. If you remember back in 2011, 2012, probably the hottest thing at FDIC, I think at the time, was we gave you a little CD drive. That's the thing that goes in your computer, and it had 100 tips and tricks and drills for your fire department. And so we've put a lot of those online. We have a lot of hyperlinks that go to other websites and other links because obviously we can't have everything. But there's a lot of good information. And so it's kind of that repository of information and links to where you need to go to find stuff. And that's sometimes too is daunting task in the fire service. I feel like sometimes with today's information and internet, it's like trying to drink out of a fire hose and just can't do it all. So we try to assist with that on our website and put things into somewhat organized fashion that if you're looking for this, that, or the other, you can get to it online and access it and get those documents that need to be successful.
And it's not just for paid firefighters. There's a lot to offer all firefighters
100%.
And all fire departments.
Yeah. And I always think too, like, a lot of these career departments, they have a lot of stuff. I work in a career department and I have access to a lot of things and I'm able to, afforded those opportunities, which is great. But in the volunteer setting, sometimes it's tough. You're working a full-time job and you're like, man, I'm the training officer for my department. I'm just struggling for a Tuesday night drill. I'm struggling for something that's going to be good for an 8-hour Saturday to make these guys, because, at the end of the day, they're not getting, they're coming out for their own benefit, right? They're coming out to benefit themselves so they can benefit the community. And there's nothing more noble than that. So you don't want to waste their time. And so, that's one thing that we can offer you is I personally pledge that, we want to make sure that if you're doing training, especially in the volunteer setting, that you're making them better. Because the last thing you want to do is be wasting somebody's time that's giving it up for free.
Say it all the time. A volunteer's most precious commodity is time. You waste it, they're not coming to next week's drill.
No. Yeah. And we offer that. Like I said, we have a ton of drills, a ton of skill sets that, we can take and put in there. And a lot of things we do, and I'm big on it is how can we train without a tower? Not everybody's got a tower. I don't have a tower. My department, we don't have a tower. So I try to find different things, and get creative. And that's, we do drills. Like I'll take guys to the park and we'll do host deployment drills to the public bathroom. And, and so little things like that. I'm like, hey, take a picture of a fire on a house. This is what you got when you show up. Right. And so, people listening may think, man, I got a park in my department. I got a phone I can pull up with a picture on it of a fire. And that's a quick drill that, maybe somebody never thought about doing, right? So, and that's more valuable than us sitting in my opinion, us sitting in a room and talking about hose. Let's get the trucks out and pull it off and use it. So a lot of those opportunities that the volunteer firefighter, volunteer training officer, company officer may not see in themselves because they're just like, man, I'm just so overwhelmed. Well, let me help you with that. And that's what the ISFSI can do is help you develop high quality training that your department's going to want and it's going to make you successful.
The International Society of Fire Service Instructors, a professional organization that's there for professional firefighters. And one of the attributes of it professional, we say it all the time, is getting out and networking and getting involved in these organizations. And I know in all my articles that I've written for fire engineering, I said this before, and I say it in my presentation. The one article I wrote that got the most feedback worldwide, emails from not just in the United States, but Canada and beyond, had to do with the volunteer fire department training drill. And I know there's a lot of volunteer fire departments out there looking for good content, good topics, help instructing. Not everyone's a natural instructor. People could always use a little boost, some help. This is a great organization to provide that help, not just for ideas, but maybe to make you a better instructor as well.
100%. No, 100%. You're spot on all that stuff. You're an advertiser. Now we're going to hire you in our marketing department.
Always looking to do more.
There you go.
But hey, if I could shift gears for one second, as FDIC, as we mentioned, is coming up. Do you want to talk about your presentation, your week there in Indy?
Yeah.
You're going to be there.
So I'm the same. I'll be coming in on Sunday. Right. So we got a bunch of stuff. Like I said, I highlighted a few of the ISFSI things. Tuesday nights are social. Wednesday, we're going to be doing some revamping of our NFPA 14 in coordination with Indy Fire. Friday morning, we have our general meeting. And Thursday, we'll be presenting Captain Bill Gustin with the International Society, ISFSI, and Fire Engineering.
That should be a colorful acceptance speech.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have a nice speech for us, so that'd be great. So that Tuesday afternoon, I'll be doing a workshop creating an aggressive fire company culture. And so I will say it right now, it is not a career paid department class. It's for everybody in the fire service, because the first thing I say is that, what does aggressive mean? And, aggressive is a word that we love in the fire service. It's thrown around a lot without real meaning, in my opinion. And so, everybody can be aggressive because it's being prepared. And if you look back at the word culture, culture is Latin for safe. And so how do we create a safe culture, right? That's in our world. People will be part of an aggressive culture when they feel like they can be safe in it. And so, when we do that, that's what my class is all about, is being prepared to mitigate any situation that we're faced, whether we go on one fire a year, we go on one fire rotation, 10 fires rotation, doesn't matter. We have to be prepared to do what's necessary to save lives. And that's regardless of 5 guys on a truck, 1 person bringing a tender. It doesn't matter. We have to be prepared. And so that's what I'm talking about on Tuesday afternoon. So I'd love for you to come out. I'm just like you, Tom. I get out there. I love the conversation. My class is I'm not going to sit there for 4 hours and lecture you. We're going to have a conversation through class and talk and learn from each other and see what we can, how all of us can leave at the end of that night better firefighters.
Fantastic. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on to the program to talk about all the benefits of becoming a member of the International Society of Fire Service Instructors. It's easier for me to say that than abbreviate. So, is there anything else you want to finish up with?
No, I appreciate the time today. Thanks for having me on. Like I said, if anybody needs more information, we have a website, isfsi.org. Jump on there, look it up. You got we have a phone number as well, email, all that stuff. So we'd love to be in contact with you and look forward to hopefully having you join up.
Fantastic. I love the tagline, inspiring, supporting, and elevating instructors around the world to be the premier instructor organization, providing resources to improve safety, efficiency, and effectiveness of the fire service, and the one that applies to all of us, paid, career, volunteer, paid on call, the guiding principles of integrity, professionalism, innovation, passion, and inclusion, stuff that we talk about on this show all the time, things that any professional firefighter should certainly think are important and strive to exemplify at all times. What a great organization to become a part of. And I look forward to talking to you more about it when I see you next week in Missouri.
Absolutely. Look forward to coming on out.
Chief, thank you so much. If people wanted to get a hold of Chief Brian Zaitz, how would they do that? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can email me. If you just want to shoot me an email, it's just my first and last name, Brian Zaitz @gmail.com. I can answer any questions. Last name is Zaitz, so BrianZaitz @gmail. Shoot me an email if you got questions about ISFSI training, or you just want to connect or something. You're going to be in the area. I'm just outside of St. Louis. Always looking for time to sit down and chat with firefighters as they roll through and learn from everybody. So
great. And if nothing else, go to the website. And is it isfsi.org?
That's it. isfsi.org.
Okay. Check it out, people. So much of benefit there to help you out in your role in your volunteer fire department, either as a firefighter or as a training officer. So, Chief, thank you so very much for being here on the show. What great information that was provided, and hopefully people take advantage of it, because, boy, there's a lot to help you be a better firefighter back home. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank everyone for, again, listening to this episode of the Professional Volunteer Fire Department. As I mentioned, I'll be on the road next week twice. I'll be in Spencerport, New York, talking to the great sisters and brothers there, just outside Rochester, New York. We're going to talk about building a professional culture in our volunteer firehouse. And just a couple of days after that, I'm hopping on an airplane and going to the Missouri Winter Fire School to do a nice 4-hour presentation 3 times at the Columbia. It's Columbia, Missouri, right, Chief?
Columbia, Missouri. Yep. Home of the Mizzou Tigers.
And Chiefs territory. I better not wear any Buffalo Bills
Yeah, you can bring that blues. Bring that Buffalo Blues out. We'll like it.
They can laugh at me. But looking forward to it. And if anybody'd like to get a hold of me, again, my contact information is tamerrill63@AOL.com. You can give my Facebook page, the Professional Volunteer Fire Department, a like and contact me through that, or Instagram or Twitter or X or whatever they call it now. My website is always updated with the latest podcast, my latest articles. I'll have another article. Just got notified. Fire engineering, I believe it's the March edition. They are printing my article talking about it's not really about my FDIC class, but it's based on it. So that'll be in the March edition. And I'll also have that on my website that has all the links to any article or podcast I did. And again, if anybody would like to get a copy of the book, The Professional Volunteer Fire Department, reach out to me. If you'd like a signed copy, you can certainly go on Fire Engineering Books and Videos website and buy it directly from there. And I would be so honored. And I hope to see you at FDIC in April. My next show will be Tuesday, March 5th. And I promise to have another great discussion with you with another great guest or guests about relevant events in the fire service. And it doesn't always have to be the volunteer fire service, but I promise you it'll be relevant events and a great topic. So thanks for tuning in. And please always remember, true professionalism is never defined by a paycheck. And your residents are owed professional service delivered by professional firefighters representing a professional organization. Thanks to Chief Brian Zaitz, and thank you for listening. Take care, folks.
Like a trusted turnout jacket you've had for years, Flex 7 outer shell fabric delivers a perfectly broken-in feel on the very first wear. Flexible, comfortable, and powered with the strength of enforced technology, Flex 7 outer shell fabric is made to move. To learn more, visit tencatafabrics.com/flex7. Flex 7, powered by enforced technology. Only from TenCate Protective Fabrics.